What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you had a safe weekend. Hope your team won. My team wasn't even in it, but I was going for the NFC either way, so I'm excited to see the NFC win. So how's everybody out there? Everybody's having a great Monday. Go ahead and wait for Keith to get on here. And so we have a great subject for you. I'm really focused on clarity, lately, just really understanding why I do what I do and really seeking that feeling, of success in each and every day. And it has nothing to do with my results. It has to do with how I feel and my progress. And so, identifying that clarity is something that we always have to do. We have to figure out exactly, what are we seeking from a feeling standpoint, and then obviously creating those actions along the way. So Tatiana, what's going on? Mel, thank you for joining us. Silas, what's up? Hey, Allison. Awesome to see you. I think you're in Florida, aren't you? Who else we got on here? Angie, what's going on? Reggie, what's up, brother? Long time no see. Hope all is well. So as we wait for Keith to get on here, I just want to ask, what is your focus for this week? Go ahead and just comment below. What is your focus on the week? It could be one word. It could be a phrase. It could be something that's on your mind right now. What is something of a subject matter that you're focused on for this week? What's up, Corey? What's going on? Anybody? Patty, what's up? All right, we're going to go ahead and add Keith. Bring Keith to the camera. All right. We bring Keith on. I see everybody's shy. It's all good. Hello, hello. Nice.
There we are.
All right, Liz, what's up? What's up, Keith? What's going on, brother?
Yes. We are getting things done, man. Finding that next level, and most importantly, finding out who we're not. I think that's definitely key. And I love the topic because if we know who we're not, then we know who we are. And I think that's important to remember. So the message that I received today as a student is go ahead and identify all the things that do not serve you, or that you do not identify with, but you may find yourself stuck in, and then not go back and try to figure out why or how to get out. Just stop being that person. Stop being that version of you. And the more and more you limit yourself from being that version, the more you'll find yourself being the version of you that best serves you and others. That's really where, as confusing as some may feel that is, that's really where I am today, knowing that on this Monday, I am going to specifically identify who I am not being, or not who I am not being, but who I am not, in order to be who I am, and honor that. As Josh Cheatham, who texted in from the UK, he always talks about honoring self, honoring that inner beauty, and making sure that you stay true to that.
Yeah, no, that's a huge subject. And a lot of people, they live in that judgment zone, and they judge themselves, and they've been living by a badge for so long, they don't really know who they are. And it could be a struggle. We talk about clarity, right? We were talking about how do you identify what you really belong to, and it's about what you feel, right? If you feel happy inside, if you feel joy, if you feel love, it's getting closer and closer each time you identify those things. And so what are the things in your life right now that we would call a kink in the hose, right? What is it that's not allowing you to flow freely throughout your day? What is it that's holding you up from going out there and really being who you have been designed to be? And this is something that, both Keith and I, we seek every day. I go to the good book every morning. I read my inspirational quotes, and I really start to focus on, what makes me feel good inside. And each and every day, that's a struggle because, there's things that other people want from you. As my wife says, before the world starts seeds first. You know that you're planting your garden first, and you're going to take care of that garden throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, right? And just making sure you're focused on plants first. And then as the wind blows in other seeds, you may decide that you want to support those seeds. Who knows? But you have a choice at that point versus just going ahead and starting with those seeds first. And so, Keith, I love this subject because a lot of times we can find ourselves stuck in the badge. right? Stuck in the label or whatever it may be that we have to feel others accept, right? And that's something that we deal with at a young age, finding where we fit in, right? What crew, what crowd, what's going to give us the best return when really, it's us that's really going to be the one that needs to give the best return and looking in the mirror and saying, I love me, and I love it every day. And making sure that I do what makes me happy every day. It's important, right? Because that's when you're going to be 100% present, with being the best you. So Keith, where in your life have you identified that you weren't being your best you, or you could be more if you stop being what others expect of you?
Well, I think there's three key areas that I always focus on, and we talk about the three dimensions. When you talk about your faith, your spirituality, your where you are mentally, and then where you are physically. And although you may be crushing it in one of those areas, if you don't find balance in all three, you're never going to excel to the level that you can be at in order to find out how much further you can go. And so you have to take inventory, or you get to take inventory every day on where you currently are. And so in the process of taking that inventory, you also get to identify what level you want to be at in all three of those areas prior to the day. And so I like that saying, that I'm not sure if it was Jim Rohn who talked about how never start the day until you finish it. Never let the day begin until it's done. And so that's a quote that at first I was like, wait a minute. I had that Scooby-Doo moment. I was like, huh? But then I realized that it means we get to plan out and determine where we're going to be in all three of those spaces. And then what we do is when we wake up in the morning, we take an inventory. We go through our processes, our positive habits, and we find out where we are based on that inventory in all three areas. Stop here, halftime. This is our halftime speech for the day. And for some of you, this is a midday check-in. For others, this is the evening check-in. And what you do is you take inventory again. Where am I in all three of these areas? And so if you can find out, if you can do a quick self-check, you can identify where you are not and what level you're not honoring, and then go back and do what you need to do to fix it. Sometimes it's a feeling that triggers the actions. Actually, all the time it's going to be a feeling you're seeking, and then the physiology you need to support that feeling until you can get back to that level in each of those areas. So that's usually what I do. So I take a quick inventory. I may be feeling awesome in one area, and then what happens is I tend to neglect others. So when I really get into my physical, I start to get in my zone, and then I know that if I get stuck there or caught there, and I let my mind stop being creative, I don't honor my creative self, and I identify the things that I move towards, those values I move towards. If I get stuck in one area, what'll happen is I'll start to steal from the other ones. So it's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, as a lot of people say. And so I constantly take inventory, probably every 10 minutes throughout my day. I'm saying, all right, where am I here? Where am I here? Where am I here? Because I know what balance does. When I hit balance, I take off, man. It's like a rocket ship. And I know what it feels like, and I know what's necessary to allow myself to be that person. That's when I experience true freedom. When I find balance in all three of those areas, and I'm a 10 out of 10, I find true freedom. And now, sometimes it's momentarily because of my environment. But my ideal goal is if the environment doesn't exist that I require to be a 10 out of 10 in all those areas and really feel that soaring feeling throughout the day on a consistent basis, well, then I need to create it. And I need to make sure that I'm around the right people and I'm in the right situation so that I have access to the tools and resources I need to create that environment. And that's so key, because you can find yourself with a want or a need, but lacking tools and resources, and now you're stuck. That's being trapped. That's being stuck in that comfort zone, that box that you may feel protected, but you'll never experience true freedom.
Yeah, that balance piece is so key. And we can find ourselves, just being stress achievers, right? As we just see our task list getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we seem like we can never catch up. And, that was me for a long time. And it still is me, here and there. But I start to really feel that I'm getting more into that groove of balance. where I know I can be present. I can sit on the couch. I can relax with my kids. I can play. I can have a conversation with my wife. I can be present with my family, but I can also be busy in my business and being focused with my customers. And so, finding that balance has always been a struggle for me. And once I realized that I needed to get everything in a row, at least identify in a row, and then I then with the right attention and the right intention, not intention, but get everything in a row where I say, okay, these are the areas that I need to focus on. I can start to say, okay, now how do I apply this to this? And how do I apply that to this? And so each activity kind of fell into these buckets, right? And so once I was able to identify those buckets, now it just was clear, okay, these are all the things I need to focus on each day. And as long as I stay on track, right, and just know that I've allocated a certain amount of time for a certain amount of tasks, then it's not me looking for more work to do, right, and always being stressed out that I didn't get anything done, because there's always going to be 1,000 things to do. There's always going to be things to do, especially if you're, in alignment with your purpose, and you're always going to see, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. It's almost like an addictive habit that you're going to go ahead and just search, for that adrenaline rush or for that big break or whatever it may be that gets you excited, but you need to make sure you have those buckets identified so that you can create that balance. And it's not about where our balances are, it's about your balance. Where in your life. And so I like this little assignment that I always have those individuals that I start to work with do. And it's kind of breaking up the day into segments, your business time, your work time, your personal development time, your recreational time, your extracurricular time, whatever it may be, and then just slotting them up. And then I start to identify, okay, when I get into those things, am I being the environment, right? Where am I allowing the environment to dictate what I do there? Or am I actually present with the things that I want to do in those moments, right? And now once you identify that, of course, things happen, right? There's going to be seeds that are going to get blown in from the wind, right? They're going to go end up in your soil, but that's okay, right? Because at that point, you've already identified the buckets that need the attention, right? And so that's where I start to, find myself in a groove. Right, and it gets thrown off at times because obviously disruptions come. But when you can align yourself with those identifiers, right? My family time, my work time, my extracurricular time, going to the gym time at 5:30 in the morning. I know if I don't fill that bucket all day long, I'm thinking about maybe trying to get back to that, and it never happens. Right, so all day
Yeah, let's do a check-in.
So Elizabeth had put in here, she goes, I begin to set strict limits to those in her circle with what stories she allows to speak into her reality. This is huge, right? Because we always have the critics around us, right? They always think that they have what's right for us and the story that they're telling us. And she goes, I won't allow the old thoughts or broken stories to be spoken into reality. She goes, this is what she allows, and this is what she no longer allows. And so being able to identify, again, how the environment is serving you, right, in the place that you live in, and the stories that you're telling yourself and also that others are telling you. That's huge. Love that. Keith, what are you seeing on your end? I'm seeing right here, Carrie, what is it? Carrie says almost like an engine check. Exactly, at regular intervals. That's huge.
Yeah, Josh talks about setting alarms. I like that. I'm going to do that actually, Josh. Is set check-in alarms, so it can break. You can break away from maybe an area that you may be stuck in. Set check-in alarms for intervals that you find yourself. No one knows yourself as well as you do. So set alarms maybe every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Allows you to check in and actually like a scorecard on how you're doing throughout the day.
Game, right? Call timeout, huddle up. Yeah, that's huge.
So I like that. Yeah, I've got the same ones you have, Aaron. I love that everybody's starting to check in. They're starting to be vocal. That means that we have a certain level of trust with our audience, and they understand this is a non-judgment zone. This is where we get to play, right? This is where we get to grow, and it's so awesome because as vulnerable as we are, it allows our audience to be vulnerable in that moment, and through that vulnerability, it's really not a vulnerability. It's actually an attachment to source. Is a better way to identify it. And the closer we are, and the closer the people that we are speaking with at the time are, the better the product, the better the information that gets shared here. Because this is really what we're doing here is translating feelings and translating energies into words that everyone here is 100% a part of.
Absolutely. And, we can find ourselves just being busy, right? Getting caught up and not really realizing what we are getting done or what we are paying attention to. And so that's huge, having those checkpoints each day, each hour of the day, and just say, okay, where am I at right now? How close am I to, making sure I'm at 100% in these different areas? And what do I need to work on, right? And just having that check, that time out. I remember being a head coach, those were the most important times. Like, what are you going to do and when are you going to regroup? Those are the two areas that you need to make sure you make adjustments, because if you don't make adjustments, right, you can easily lose control of the game. And next thing you know, you start thinking about all these regrets. Like, man, if I would only call the timeout before that big play, or if I only huddled up versus having, this rush, go attitude. And if I would have just brought it all together and just regrouped, we would have made a better, better result, or had a better conversation, right? Had a better connection of what this day needs. Because again, we have to remember that each day is not promised, right? And so we need to make sure that every day that we live in it, that we're present and that we're being better every day. Go back to a message that someone had sent me. She goes, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing great. How are you?" And she says, "Better day." And so each day you want to be better than you were yesterday, and each moment that you share with friends, family, or business colleagues, you want to make sure that you're making it the best. And so with that being said, we lost Keith. I just want to thank all of you for tuning in here live every week, every day, Monday through Friday, in the tank with Aaron and Keith. And we're really here to serve and to share messages that we deliver, that are delivered to us every morning, and then going out there and just throwing it out to you guys to go ahead and feedback with it, and so we can continue to grow. So for the hundreds of thousands of individuals out there sharing this message, we love you guys. We want to continue and encourage you to be your best. You're welcome, Corey. And with that being said, go out there and be the best version of you, and have a great Monday. God bless y'all.